All right, let's just jump right into this. Welcome to this explainer, where today we're going to do the brutal, absolutely unfiltered math on what it actually takes to afford a $500,000 home today, without completely losing your mind. If you've been feeling like the housing market is just totally disconnected from reality, trust me, you are not crazy. Today, we're going to break down the exact numbers and look at the financial tightrope millions of people are being asked to walk just to own a home.
So I really want to ask you this directly. Who can actually afford a $500,000 house right now? Because let's be honest, we've all been there. You're scrolling through real estate listings late at night, and every single house that doesn't look like it's about to literally collapse cost $500,000. The kitchen features those classic 2003 laminate countertops. The carpet is a really suspicious shade of beige. There's fake wood paneling in the basement, and the listing agent has the absolute audacity to call it a starter home. You're sitting there doing mental math on your salary, wondering if you somehow missed a massive promotion at work. Well, spoiler alert, it's not you. It's the math.
Section 1. The 500K baseline, the new normal. Because look, we aren't talking about luxury real estate here. We're talking about a stark national contrast. The median household income in America sits right around $84,000, but the baseline home cost is now $500,000. In dozens of U.S. markets right now, like Denver, Austin, or honestly anything within commuting distance of a major metro, this $500,000 price tag doesn't get you a mansion. It gets you a 1,200 square foot box with 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a yard the size of a beach towel. And this just brilliantly illustrates the absolute absurdity of the current market. Normal people making normal salaries are somehow expected to afford homes that cost nearly 6 times their annual gross income.
Section 2.
Now, this is where most people's home ownership dreams go to die. The old golden rule of real estate was always to put 20% down. On a $500,000 house, that's a cool $100,000 in cash. But the median savings account in America has roughly $8,000 in it. Buyers aren't just a little short, they're $92,000 short. And before you say, well, I'll just save it up, let's actually do that math. If you're making that median $84,000 a year and somehow manage to save 10% of your gross income, which almost nobody does, you're saving $8,400 a year. It would take you exactly 12 years to save up that down payment, assuming housing prices don't go up at all in the next decade, which of course they absolutely will. So you do what most people do. You skip the 20% down payment and put down 5% or 10% instead. Well, congratulations. You just unlocked private mortgage insurance, or PMI. This is essentially a poverty tax. It's a fee running anywhere from $200 to $400 a month that you pay for the crime of not being wealthy enough to drop $100,000 in cash. And the kicker? You're paying extra money every single month for insurance that protects the bank, not you. You're basically starting from a position of financial punishment from day one.
Section 3. The monthly bleed. Adding it up.
Let's assume you did scrape together that 10%, leaving you with a $450,000 loan at current interest rates, which are around 6 to 7%. First, your principal and interest on that loan land at roughly $2,850. But that's just the start. Add property taxes, which conservatively add $500 a month. Then there's homeowners insurance, which has totally skyrocketed recently thanks to climate change, making everything more expensive to insure, so add $300. Then there's maintenance. The general rule is 1% of your home's value per year. To cover the water heater exploding at 11 p.m. on a Sunday, that's $417 a month. Finally, add your $300 PMI. Your total monthly housing cost is now a staggering $4,367, and that's assuming your HOA doesn't randomly decide to repave the entire neighborhood.
So the absolutely crucial point here is figuring out who can actually afford that $4,367 a month. Financial advisors usually use the 28% rule, meaning housing shouldn't exceed 28% of your gross income. Banks, on the other hand, will approve you up to a 43% debt-to-income ratio. If we reverse engineer the math to comfortably afford this house under the 28% rule, you need to make roughly $187,000 a year. Even under the bank's maximum leniency of 43%, you still need to be pulling in $150,000 annually. Which brings us to a really crushing punchline: 10 to 20%. That is the percentage of U.S. households that actually make $150,000 or more. This means 80% of American households literally cannot comfortably afford a baseline $500,000 house under any reasonable financial standard. This isn't an opinion. This is just the math being incredibly cruel. Section 4. The house poor trap. Meet the Johnsons.
Let's look at a hypothetical couple, the Johnsons. They're two professionals making a combined $160,000 a year. They should be super comfortable, right? Well, let's watch what happens when they buy that house. That $160,000 gross income sounds great right up until the IRS shows up. After federal and state taxes, FICA, and maybe a modest 401k contribution, they actually take home about $9,500 a month. Now subtract that $4,367 monthly housing cost. It's a massive 46% slice of their take-home pay, devoured entirely by their home. This leaves them with exactly $5,133 for the rest of their entire life.
Now let's drain that remaining $5,133. Because out in suburbia, they need 2 cars. That's $800. Car insurance, $250. Gas, $300. Student loans for the degrees that got them these jobs in the first place, $600. Health insurance premiums, $400. Groceries are another $800. Utilities for the house, $450. That leaves just $1,533 remaining for the whole month. We haven't even touched clothing, kids' activities, car repairs, medical copays, or a real emergency fund. They are literally one broken HVAC system away from total disaster, forced to finance dental work like it's a no car.
And you know what's truly insidious about all of this? It's how we've rebranded this financial desperation as just adulting. Oh, you can't afford furniture for 3 of your rooms? That's just home ownership. Eating ramen for dinner because the mortgage took everything? Hey, you're building equity. Society has totally twisted the misery of being completely broke into this supposed rite of passage.
Section 5. A rigged system, financial disconnect.
If this math is screaming at us, why does the market keep pushing these numbers onto regular people? Well, it's because home prices have increased roughly 400% since 1990. Meanwhile, the median household income has only gone up about 180% in that exact same period. The housing market has completely disconnected from income reality. What was totally normal and achievable for previous generations is now effectively a luxury item. If you feel like you're failing at some fundamental adult milestone, understand this right now. You are not failing. The system is failing you. It is a structural affordability crisis.
There are basically 3 steps driving this whole machine. Step 1, sellers list high based on comparable sales. Step 2, banks approve these risky 43% debt-to-income ratios because, well, they don't hold the risk long-term anyway. Step 3, realtors push deals because their commission depends on it. Absolutely nobody in this real estate transaction has a financial incentive to tell you that you're about to financially drown. The entire system is designed to get you into the house, not to ensure you can comfortably afford it for the next 30 years.
Section 6. Real wealth, redefining success.
But the truth is, you don't have to participate in this collective financial insanity just because everyone else is doing it. If you run your real numbers and the math just doesn't work, here are your actual, highly actionable options. You can choose to keep renting and aggressively invest the difference. You can swallow your pride and look at a $350,000 house instead, even if it means a slightly longer commute. You can relocate to a cheaper market where $500,000 actually buys something reasonable, or honestly, you can just wait. Let me be very, very clear. There is absolutely no prize for buying a house you can't afford, and there is no trophy for being house poor.
I want to leave you with this really powerful thought. Real wealth is freedom, not equity you can't access. Because true financial success isn't owning a house you can barely afford. It's having margin in your budget. It's not having to choose between fixing your roof and contributing to your retirement. It's being able to sleep at night without anxiety about next month's payment. So before you sign those papers and lock yourself into a 30-year financial tightrope, ask yourself, is this home actually going to improve your life? Or just trap your money in the walls? Think about it.